Welcome back to another episode of the Casey Campbell podcast. Casey Campbell with you, of course. Pleased to be joined by Joel Smith. How are you?
I'm doing good, sir. How about you?
I'm doing well. So you are a racer. Why don't you tell a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, so I am 15 years old. I'm now live in Mooresville, North Carolina. I currently race legend cars, Raleigh, Charlotte, all over the country, really. Um, yeah, big time racer right now, trying to kind of grow my platform on that. So yeah,
Yeah. So where are you originally from?
I'm originally from Temperance, Michigan.
Okay. So if that town sounds familiar, it's right around the Toledo area. It's actually the city where ARCA's headquarters is. So pretty probably familiar with going to like Toledo and Flat Rock and stuff like that. And when you were growing up. Tell me how you got into racing.
Yeah, so I was about 9 years old, and I'd watched NASCAR for years at that point. And one day I just went with my parents and I'm like, I want to do this. I want to race. So went out, bought a quarter midget, raced at Jackson Speedway in Jackson, Michigan. Raced that for a year, and then we transitioned to Bandoleros for a couple of years, and then 2022 I transitioned to a legend car, and that's where I've been so far ever since.
So you were like 12 years old when you were first got in one of those, got in a legend car, I think.
Yeah, I was 12 years old. Yeah.
So you've been in legend cars for like 3 years. What do you feel like you've just, can you just expand on how much you've accomplished in that? What would have been since the successes that you've had when you've been in one of these things?
Yeah, so for sure I feel like I've had a lot of success. Won the 2022 Asphalt Nationals in the Alliance division out in Las Vegas. That was a really big deal. Currently hold the track record at Wake County Speedway right now. Won a bunch of pro legend car races. We went to Florida actually a month ago and won two of the five races, qualified on pole three times. So I feel like we've so far like my legend car career has been pretty successful. Trying to get better and just trying to get a little bit better in the point system and try chasing more championships.
So on average, how many legend car races do you run a year typically?
I would say usually anywhere from like 30 to 40-ish, anywhere in that range.
Do you have a favorite track that you like going to? Like what's the like your favorite place to go?
So I have three. This is funny. So Wake County Speedway, Raleigh. I love going to Charlotte. Charlotte's by far one of my favorite tracks. And then one of my favorite places I've been to in a long time is the Bull Ring in Las Vegas. That's by far my favorite track. It's a big 3/8 mile, bunch of draft. It's one of the raciest tracks you'll go to, and it's super fun to race on a legend car.
Yeah. Um, who were some of the drivers that you looked up to?
I looked up to Joey Logano, Jimmy Johnson, Jeff Gordon, those kinds of names. I was a big Jimmy fan growing up, especially when I was little. I got to meet him back in 2016 at Michigan, which that was pretty cool. Yeah, I was always a big Jimmy fan. I always wanted to be like him and have the success that he had.
So to be successful in racing, especially if you want to go to NASCAR, which I don't want to assume anything because it's never good to assume, but is that the reason why you went to Charlotte and all that stuff and moving down there and being down in the Charlotte hub? Because if you want to be successful in the NASCAR side of things, and you don't have to, there's a ton of drivers that live all over the place, but is that why you decided to move down to Charlotte and stuff like that?
Yeah, that's one of the main reasons I would say. The biggest thing is up in Michigan. I mean, there wasn't like really a ton of races. We had, one or two tracks that would race, legend cars or bandos, and it just wasn't the competition wasn't as strong as I would say it is down here. Down here, it's so stacked and there's so many good drivers. So one of the main reasons was, get more exposure and just try to get better and, improve my skill by racing against some of the top guys in the country, especially here at Charlotte.
Mhm. Okay, so I know you got a big year plan because I know you got the summer shootout coming up, and I know this is being recorded in March, and that's gonna be that thing will be here before you know it. But what else do you have planned this year for 2025 there, Joel?
Yeah, so we'll be running the final race of the Bull Bash at Wake County Speedway next Saturday. That'll be the championship race. We're currently leading the points for that. Then we're gonna run, I think it's April 4th, the opening night at Wake County Speedway for their official track opening of the year, and then probably Nashville for the Nashville Spring Series, Brent Highland Rim, and Nashville Fairgrounds. Do some more Wake County races, do the shootout, and then at the end of the year, we're more than likely going to go to Las Vegas and go do the 2025 Asphalt Nationals.
Okay. So what are your goals for like next like this year? What do you want to accomplish in 2025?
Yeah, the biggest thing is I want to try to get more wins and be more consistent. I feel like last year was just kind of like a iffy year. We had good results some days and some days we didn't. I want to try to be a little more consistent with that, try to get a couple more. I want to try to get a championship at least. I would like to go for the Summer Shootout Championship. It's always been my um, biggest thing. I've always been so close to it, been second in points twice and third one. So I would like to hopefully go for that and try to win that.
Um, where do you see yourself in like the next 2 years in your racing career, or how do you want to progress? Like, do you because you're 15 years old, you're at the ripe age of that's when teams start to try to find the next big superstar in the NASCAR world. Where do you see yourself going in the next few years?
I'm hoping to see myself in 2 years, hopefully racing Cars Tour, either in a late model stock or pro late model. Um, I would really love to do that, just run the full Cars Tour season. I've always wanted to do that, especially how stacked it is now. The competition's insane, but uh, love to do that. Maybe run some big late model races, just kind of see. But I would really love to see myself in 2 years in Cars Tour mainly.
Absolutely. Okay. And finally, when is your next race, and where do you think people can find you the next few weeks? Where are you gonna be at?
Yeah, so I'll be at Wake County Speedway next Saturday in Raleigh, North Carolina for the final Bull Bash race. We'll After that we'll have a week off and then we'll go back to Wake for their season opener in Raleigh, and then Nashville Fairgrounds is like middle of April is when we'll run again for the Nashville Spring Series.
Okay. All right. Well, Joel, thanks for coming on for a few minutes and talking about your racing career, and best of luck this season. We'll have to catch up with you later on.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.